This is Chris Biderman from the Sacramento Bee live here in Miami after the final 49ers media availability of the week ahead of Super Bowl 54 Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs. Really, it's been kind of a nondescript week for the 49ers because they're sort of used to this. This is their third week of the season that they've spent away from their Santa Clara facility this year. Between weeks 1 and 2, they spent the week in Youngstown, Ohio before playing the Cincinnati Bengals, and they had one of their best offensive performances of the season, racking up 571 yards of offense. And then later in the year, between weeks 13 and 14, before their most impressive victory of the year against the New Orleans Saints, they practiced in nearby Bradenton, Florida, and obviously got the big win in New Orleans. So this is kind of old hat for the 49ers, being away from their facility for this long, and they look at that as a positive. Their routine hasn't been changed all that much, despite all the hoopla surrounding Super Bowl week. So there hasn't been a lot of conflict from that standpoint, at least as far as we can tell. The only questionable player, it seems like, from an injury standpoint going into the game is running back Tevin Coleman, who dislocated his shoulder in the NFC title game, and he returned to practice this week as a limited participant after not practicing last week during the bye back in Santa Clara. So Richard Sherman made some headlines when he was drug tested by the NFL for performance enhancers. It was a blood and urine test. He tweeted about it and spoke about it just now. It's the second time this month that Sherman has been tested by the league, and he's a little bit perturbed by that, and he wonders why that might be happening, and he's been outspoken about the pending CBA negotiations, which could include 17 games. It sounds like Sherman and the rest of the players are against that idea. But Sherman was last tested after the divisional round game against the Minnesota Vikings, in which he had an interception. So it's sort of an interesting week for the 49ers from a historic perspective. Kyle Shanahan spoke today about how the last time the 49ers were here in Miami for Super Bowl 29 after the 1994 season, he was a ball boy for his father, Mike, who was the offensive coordinator that year, and Kyle Shanahan was on the sidelines of that game, sort of getting in everyone's way, as he joked. So this is sort of a homecoming for him. His father, Mike, is in town. Obviously, Kyle Shanahan and Mike Shanahan would be the first father-son duo as head coaches to ever win the Super Bowl should the 49ers overcome the Chiefs. And the 49ers are going to have a difficult task slowing down Patrick Mahomes. It's going to be up to the team's offensive line that includes 5 first-round picks to slow Mahomes in one of the league's best passing games. And so that's really going to be the matchup to watch. And that's what we got here from the final media day of the week. I'm Chris Biderman of the Sacramento Bee.